Hello and good evening, everybody. 19th of April 2024 सुबह हमने प्री मार्केट अपडेट किया। सिचुएशन थोड़ी टेंस थी, बट उसमें हमने ये चीज भी रखी थी कि आगे क्लैरिटी आएगी, उसके बाद मार्केट का एक क्लियर मूवमेंट हम डिफाइन कर पाएंगे। और उसके बाद जो रोलर कोस्टर राइड रही वो तो हम सब ने देखा ही है। खैर एनी हाउ इसको हम इतना बोरिंग नहीं बनाते हैं जितना प्री मार्केट अपडेट को बनाते हैं, क्योंकि ये वीकली राउंड अप है। एंड एज ऑलवेज बस लास्ट वीक एब्सेंट थे, इस वीक आ गए हैं मिस्टर अंकित खंडेलवाल। लेट मी ब्रिंग हिम ऑन इन द स्टूडियो। हाय अंकित, गुड इवनिंग, हाउ आर यू?
Hello. Good evening, Rachit. How are you? All well here.
हाउ वाज द ब्रेक?
Good. Break is always welcome. I thought that, anyways, we are having a series of short weeks. वीक में एक या दो दिन छुट्टियां चल रही है तो थोड़ा एक्सटेंड करके एक छोटा सा ब्रेक ही ले लिया जाए. Yeah.
रियली दैट वाज नाइस। अच्छा, एक चीज है, लास्ट वीक में हमने डिस्कस किया था, वीकली राउंड अप थोड़ा छोटा ही रहा था, बट हमने लेवल्स वही फॉलो किए थे जो उसके प्रीसीडिंग वीकली राउंड अप में हम लोगों ने डिस्कस किए थे। एंड प्रिसाइसली उसके कुछ पॉइंटर्स जो थे वो ये थे कि 21760 का एक सपोर्ट है जो बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग सपोर्ट है, जिसके लिए हमने लास्ट वीक से लास्ट वीकली राउंड अप में डिस्कस भी किया था। और बायर्स हमने थोड़ा सा कॉशियस अप्रोच के लिए चेंज कर दिया था। तो अब आप थोड़ा बताइए कि किस तरीके से हमारा वीक जो गया वो कैसा गया और आपने क्या क्या चीजें नोटिस करी?
Uh, First of all, though, since I was not there in the last week's roundup, let me start with the week before this week. Uh, Again, short week, but then if you remember, I had raised my upper limit of the range to 20 to 650 from 20 to 500, and it was as expected. It did move up. Kafi frenzy thi. It did move up, but 650 it gave a couple of closing above that also. Like you said, I think it got onto a life high of 22 740 or something like that. Uh, but having said that, in spite of that, there was again a lot of volatility. Volatility increased. VIX has really increased over the last 2 weeks. So that is again one sign that ये जो up move था ये sustainable नहीं था. If you see how last week ended, again, it ended quite close to our range of 520 to 500. I think it ended at 20 to 519, if I'm not mistaken. So it gave a 2 or 3 days of very high opening and kind of volatile markets. But towards the end of the week, it settled down and close to those levels only. Again, like I told you that anything which will be news driven will deviate from this range and it will eventually come back, upside or downside. Let's come to this week. This week the same thing happened in the downside. I think this week you will agree with me if I say that this was a week of gap down openings.
Right.
Every day there was a gap down opening. Okay, it started off with a weak thing from last week. जब वो 740 से छू के वापस 22 500 के पास जब वीक में बंद हुआ, तो वो वीकनेस कंटिन्यू हुई इस वीक. Started off with the Israeli attack news, the Iran's attack on Israel, that drone attack which happened on Sunday. So I think that itself triggered uh, globally. It triggered like a huge sell-off on Monday. So Monday was a gap down which was expected. So Monday gap down hua. It tried to recover, but it couldn't. Indian markets kept going gap down. I think a lot of that, coupled with some kind of disappointment in results, plus the uncertainty of going into elections, everything did not, couple together. They did not let the Indian markets recover as swiftly as it could. Again, Wednesday was a holiday, a local holiday. Okay. Uh, if you see Thursday's chart, it did try to recover. It did try to, close to a 22,000, which is a psychological mark. 22,000 के पास जाके एक बाउंस बैक दिया था. 22,097 से उठ के it went up all the way 300 points, 22,300 and something. So it did give a recovery on Thursday. But again, that news that came, I think if you remember yesterday, that somewhere around midday, one news had come that Israel is retaliating on that this thing. And if you see the chart, immediately it fell down in a matter of few minutes. 200,
It
300
was
points.
126, 124 or 126 in the afternoon. It just fell like that, right?
Yeah. It just went down like that, and after that, it did not see any signs of recovery after that. Okay, this continued on Friday, which a massive gap down opening. Okay, but how it works? News gets gets factored in sooner or later. Okay, it may not get factored in today. Maybe something that has happened post lunch, you might not see the same impact the next day. That day, maybe next day. So I think globally the markets kind of stabilized. So our markets also stabilized. Today was a good, I would not say rally. I would say it was more like a bounce back. But if you see, it is closing week on week, more or less in that short range of 500 points or 700 points. You may shift the range 200 points up or 200 points down on the Nifty. Again, this week's closing is 20 to 147. So all the heat of 20 to 600, 650, 700 plus, and all the negativity from below 22,000 is all normalized and neutralized, and it is broadly aligning itself in this small range. So having said that, uh, this week was also very eventful. The results have started coming in. If you know that there was an FPO of Vodafone Idea also, I believe that was something to be really looked out for. क्या क्या लगता है उसका क्या हुआ, मतलब how was it?
There are many things which are important for this particular FPO because frankly it is India's biggest FPO. 18,000 crore का FPO अभी तक इंडिया ने देखा नहीं है और 18 अप्रैल से 22 अप्रैल तक है, लाइक मंडे तक ये खुला हुआ है. और अगर अपना रिटेल का आप देखें तो लॉट साइज कुछ ऑड मिनिमम वन लॉट का जो फिगर बनता है 14,278 रुपीस का बनता है. If you consider 11 rupees as the issue price, and maximum you can bid for 14 lots, which somewhere totals down to 1,99,892. इस पर्टिकुलर एफपीओ को क्योंकि प्री मार्केट अपडेट में भी वी हैड डिस्कस्ड इट और थोड़ा सा इंटरेस्ट मेरा ले रहा है रिटेल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से. छोटा टिकट साइज का अगर आईपीओ होता है या एफपीओ होता है, स्टॉक होता है, तो रिटेल इज क्वाइट इंक्विजिटिव. And that was the reason I was going through again and again and trying to fetch out information. So another interesting point is that anchor investors have already put in 5,400 crores in this particular FPO. They have committed this much money. There are some 60 odd anchor investors. और बहुत मार्की नेम्स देखें तो आजकल बहुत ब्लू आई बॉय जो एफपीआई की तरफ से आ रहे हैं, GQG Partners, they have put in 13,045 crores. Fidelity Investment has put in some odd 772 crores. Now you have Austrian Super. It has put in 130 crores. Indian funds भी बहुत पीछे नहीं है इसमें. Motilal Oswal has poured in some odd 500 crores. क्वांट आजकल बहुत एक्टिव हो रहा है, म्यूचुअल फंड हैज poured in 149 crores. HDFC, इंटरेस्टिंगली HDFC का भी इसमें इंटरेस्ट है, 102 odd crores HDFC ने भी डाला है. अगर इस एफपीओ का हम, क्योंकि यूजुअली आईपीओ की बात करते हैं या फंड रेजिंग की बात करते हैं, तो वी यूजुअली टॉक अबाउट द एप्लीकेशन. नाउ अगेन द एप्लीकेशन इज क्वाइट इंटरेस्टिंग बिकॉज 4G एक्सपेंशन, ऑलरेडी जो इनका 4G चल रहा है उसको एक्सपैंड करना चाह रहे हैं अक्रॉस द लेंथ एंड ब्रेड्थ ऑफ दिस कंट्री. They'll be putting it some odd 7,030 crores in that. When you talk about 5G, अभी तक आप देखें वोडाफोन आइडिया still working on 4G. 5G इनको रोल आउट करना है. For that, they have allocated 5,720 crores. And network expansion, जिसमें DOT को payments और ये सब करने हैं इनको, उसके लिए they have put in 2,175 crores. So the complete fund that they are raising, they have planned it properly. Like there is no debt repayment that they are planning to do, but पूरा का पूरा expansion में ही ये डालने की बात कर रहे हैं. इसमें एक और इंटरेस्टिंग बात है दैट दिस एफपीओ इज ऑफ 18,000 crores एंड और 2,000 crores प्रमोटर्स ने पहले ही इन्फ्यूज किया था, आप देखें लास्ट वीक. सो दिस टोटल्स आउट टू बी लाइक 20,000 crores. और इसके अलावा दे आर प्लानिंग टू रेज अ डेट ऑफ 25,000 crores. सो अभी दे हैव अप्रॉक्स से 45,000 crores ऑफ मनी दैट दे विल बी रेजिंग in the form of debt or in the form of this FPO and promoter holding and everything. So 45,000 crores ये पूरा का पूरा expansion plan कर रहे हैं. इसके साथ साथ आप एक चीज देखें कि डेट की जब हम बात कर रहे हैं, 25,000 crores का डेट है, और डेट और आइडिया एज वी नो बहुत सालों से इनका बहुत अच्छा स्ट्रॉन्ग बॉन्डिंग चल रहा है, फ्रेंडशिप चल रहा है. ऑलरेडी आइडिया के ऊपर वोडाफोन के अगर आप डेट देखें तो 2,30,000 crores का डेट है, और 25,000 crores का हम और ऐड करते हैं तो 2,50,000 और 55,000 crores का डेट हो जाता है. अब इसका डेट का भी मैंने स्टडी किया है. नाउ डेट इज अगेन इंटरेस्टिंग बिकॉज 70,000 crores तो गवर्नमेंट का जो एजीआर ड्यूज है वही है. उसके साथ साथ ये 70,000 crores का पेमेंट अगर देखें तो इनको स्टार्ट करना है आफ्टर सितंबर 2025, और अक्टूबर 2025 से मार्च 2026 तक दे हैव टू पे ओनली 27,000 crore रुपीस. बैंक और इंस्टीट्यूशंस का अगर हम देखें तो बैंक और इंस्टीट्यूशंस का इनका रीपेमेंट स्टार्ट हो रहा है फ्रॉम FY27 एंड दे हैव टू क्लोज इट बिफोर FY31. एनुअल पेमेंट इनका जो करना है दैट इज 41,500 crores. अब डेट हमने देख लिया, एक्सपेंशन प्लान देख लिया, हम इसकी मार्केट में अगर पोजीशन भी देखें तो अभी अप टिल द लास्ट अपडेट दैट वी हैव, इट स्टिल होल्ड्स 19.38% ऑफ द मार्केट शेयर. मतलब 1/5 साइज का ये प्लेयर अभी भी है. तो अगर आप इसको पूरे को स्ट्रक्चर को समझने की कोशिश करें, एक तो द प्रमोटर्स आर एग्रेसिवली पुटिंग इन मनी. The government, if you see last year, the way government had infused money by those tax liability revisions and everything, the government is holding 32.2% stake in the company already. Government की तरफ से और ट्राई की तरफ से अभी already statement आ गया है that they are still monitoring and they want more players in telecom sector to keep a check on the competition that they have. तो उसके चलते, और वोडाफोन का अगर हम देखें तो 32.3% स्टेक पार्टनरशिप है, और आदित्य बिरला ग्रुप इज होल्डिंग 18.11%. गवर्नमेंट स्ट्रॉन्ग इंटरेस्ट रख रही है, अभी भी 1/5 प्लेयर साइज में है, और प्राइसिंग ठीक लग रही है. सो इफ देयर आर एनी रिस्क टेकर्स, आई बिलीव ये एक अट्रैक्टिव एफपीओ बन रहा है. क्योंकि आप देखिए एफपीओ के बाद से जब से अनाउंसमेंट आया है 1270 तक प्राइस आ रही है, उसके बाद ये 13 के ऊपर ही मेंटेन कर रहा है. तो 11 रुपए में अगर आपको मिलता है, लुक्स गुड. मगर इसमें एक और चीज मैं ऐड करना चाहूंगा, और ये ऑन रिकॉर्ड्स रहे, बिकॉज नेक्स्ट टाइम हम जब डिस्कस कर रहे होंगे ये बात रहेगी कि दिस 45,000 crore रुपीस आई रियली डोंट थिंक विल हेल्प देम मच. आई बिलीव इन अ ईयर्स टाइम दे विल अगेन कम आउट विद एन एफपीओ, बिकॉज इनको इस डेट रीपेमेंट और एक्सपेंशन को अगर स्ट्रॉन्ग मैनर में ट्रिगर करना है आगे, तो एक परफॉर्मेंस दिखाने के बाद एक साल के अंदर अंदर मैं समझता हूँ ये एक और एफपीओ लेकर आएंगे. सो मोटा मोटी दिस वाज द रिसर्च दैट आई हैड डन ऑन दिस.
Excellent. Thank you for such a in-depth analysis of this thing. In fact, ये week में a couple of big companies have given out their results, and like last week you described how TCS has given out the result. TCS तो guidance देता नहीं है, but Infosys came up with their results, and Bajaj Auto came up with their results. Now, speaking of Infosys, again, Infosys has given kind of subdued numbers, I would say. The analysts were expecting better numbers. They say that the sales, because of the Western markets, are not completely, the economy is still on a slowdown mode and they are not picking up. The tech spends have not been as per their expectation. So they have stated that the sales have been little kind of tepid. Because of this, their guidance going forward is also not very encouraging. They have, as of now, given a revenue guidance of 1 to 3% uh, over the year FY 2025, and this was expected to be around 6% as per analysts. So that is a huge gap there, and they have given a operating profit margin, operating margin guidance of about 20 to 22% over the year. So yeah, but having said that, the stock has corrected. The ADRs have corrected in the American markets, and which is why at 14.10, 14.15, it is a very good buy. Another thing, interesting thing to note, that if you compare how Infosys has moved over last 1 year, it has grown about 13%. Now, this number, when we come to TCS and Wipro, which are direct competitors, it's beyond 20%. So there's been a 20% plus increase in TCS, in Wipro, but only 13% in Infosys. So I think Infosys still has the scope and guidance, if the conditions improve in the West, and the tech spend. See, tech spending is going to happen. It's just a matter of time whether whether I can afford it this quarter, or next quarter, or maybe next year. So if my condition improves and I am willing to spend for tech, obviously all the guidances, everything will change. The scenario can change completely. So yeah, Infosys, I believe at this price is a decent buy if you want to keep it for medium term at least. Speaking of Bajaj Auto, again, Bajaj Auto, on the contrary, has given beaten market expectations. The estimates pointed out to net revenue of about net income of about 1844 crores. Which was 36% up. They posted 1940 crores, and revenue of a total 11,140 crores. Against that, the actual revenue was 11,480 crores, again 29% up. Going forward, also, the analysts, I think the reason they have stated for this is largely cheaper cost in this quarter, cheaper cost of manufacturing, cost of input. And going forward also, the analysts, they say that uh, there will be a very strong growth in demand from the rural sector, especially two wheelers. So Bajaj Auto is looking very good in terms of business growth. But again, the stock has moved up very, very much, and it may need some cooling down before you can actually get there. Like, for example, maybe 8,000 300, 400 levels, maybe at that level one can invest in it for a longer term. But it has really heated up. I think just even after the result, it fell down as much as 3.6%, which was kind of expected, because just before the result, how it moved up so drastically. After this, it had to blow off the steam somewhere. So yeah, so those were the two big ones. We haven't yet come across Wipro. I believe today Wipro, Geo, and a few more results are there. If something major will happen, we can cover it next week.
So this is a very interesting takeaway, and I believe the viewers really need to make a note of it. That if any particular stock has made aggressive movement before the results coming in, even if the particular company, it particular counter, it surpasses the estimates and it performs over the estimate, but again, if the particular stock has made such tremendous movement, it has to cool off. And
Yes.
after such kind of robust results, like you pointed out today, it actually corrected. And frankly, when I was doing this pre-market update today, and I was just saying, because usually I don't try to give out any guidance, so I was just saying the stocks to watch would be Bajaj Auto, and I was just wondering as to what kind of movement it will make after such crazy movements it has registered already. So again, a very good point that you have put forward. So how do you take it? Like after we have all the results coming in of Geo and Wipro, but any guidance that you would like to, as we always discuss, how would be the week coming ahead, and what do you see in the week?
Again, going ahead, again, I am expecting uh, again a very short range bound movement. Volatility might continue. Uh, More results will be pouring in, so we have to. There is a lot. Basically, there is a lot to watch out for. To start with, this geopolitical tension, which is growing in the Middle East. Just let me put this in perspective. In the last week, geopolitical tensions have caused equity markets to go down globally. Gold has surged past $2,400, and oil has hit $88. So, the impact of, uh, even if it is a knee jerk impact, and, it is not a long standing, sustainable kind of impact, the impact of such tensions escalating is massive and across all asset classes. So, I would say that everybody should exercise extreme caution in the coming week. Uh, we need to look out for geopolitical tension. That is point number one. Point number two is we need to look out for big company results. Now the results have started pouring in. Urgent earning season is on. It's going to keep coming in, and maybe it doesn't change the course of the market, but stock specific movement is extremely possible. Even within a sector, some stocks, like for example banking, I do expect an ICICI Bank to give great results. Maybe I do not expect such great results from an SBI. So, so a stock specific movement is definitely in the offing in the coming week. Uh, the voting has started today. How the elections go. Again, oh, yes, lovely. Very proud of you. Uh, so how the elections go again, and how the media is covering it, and what is the kind of public opinion they are going. It might to an to a degree impact the movement. It may get volatile, it may not get volatile. Yeah, more or less, there are 3 4 major things that you need to look out for. As far as levels are concerned, I don't see Nifty moving very much ahead of what we have seen already, or very much below. Like for example, if today's, like you said, the low of last week's low, 21,760. If that would have gotten broken today and we would have given closing, technically it might have become weak, and we might have seen, next week, 21,600 or 500 levels or whatever. But looking at the chart, it fell down all the way to 21,840 odd levels today. It, in fact, today's gap down opening was 21,840, I think, low. Or
Interesting point.
sorry, you're right,
This
21,777. It is was
right.
dangerously close to that point
Yes.
of 760, only 17 points away. But how the market have, done a gap down and gone up straight away without turning back. So it clearly indicates that it's a very strong support zone. Likewise, like the 21, 22, 500, 600 is a very strong resistance level. So to go beyond this range, it would require some serious, I would say, what money power or muscle power, you can say whatever. So, some seriously high level of selling, which can be triggered by anything, like
Right.
geopolitical tension, for example. Like if I am in a state that, these things do not change with a change in policy, or a thing like that, a change in a regulation. These things, they are not game changer. What game changer will be complete uncertainty. So if the 200 drone attack is retaliated with an airstrike, and it's covering the global news, then actually there is the scare, and then the uncertainty is there. That will tank the market. Not otherwise it won't. Otherwise, keep going up, down, up, down. So I don't think anything is going to come that will. So again, what I say is, except for these shocks, if we don't get such shocks, we are going to stay in this tight range. That's it.
And if we get good results, good numbers pouring in, do we even expect a upside breach in the coming week? Like, say, if we get good guidance from some of the blue chips, are we in a position to witness a new high as well if there is no, shock from the international geopolitical situations? And if
I
we see,
Yeah, please go ahead. Sorry, please finish.
Naini, so that was my question, because in this particular conversation you were completely discussing about the idea of going down, down, down. So I was just looking at some factor which can make us go up. Is there any blue silver lining in the sky
Like
that we should look for?
like I said, a good result, a good corporate result will impact the specific stock
Right.
or the sector at most. I don't see a good result in Reliance or a Geo or ICICI Bank taking the entire markets up or down for that matter. So suppose if an HDFC is by chance posting disappointing results, it will be a maybe a 4%, 5%, 8% cut over 2 days on HDFC. Maybe some other weaker banks also. It might go down with it. But I don't see it affecting the markets overall. I don't see that happening. It'll be stock specific. But the way stocks have moved up, I think a lot of good news as far as the corporate earnings is concerned might be factored in. When Maruti posted excellent sales number on the first of the month, then itself the stock has moved up so much. So if it gives a consolidated good result for the whole quarter, a lot of it is factored in. So I do not expect great fireworks. I mean, 200 points, 300 points, if it goes up, the stock is 12,500 rupees. It's barely anything. So I don't expect great fireworks because a lot of thing is already factored in. But yeah, some surprises can happen, definitely.
So a range bound surprise full week that we are about to witness, is it a full
Yes.
week that we have to trade for?
Yes, after a
No
long,
more
long
holidays.
time, after a long, long time, we have a full week. Let's see. Yeah,
चलिए ठीक है. So we have the range, we have the idea, and best of luck for all the investors and traders that nothing really serious comes in and triggers the support level or breaches it. So I believe that's all we have today, and it was amazing. Always learning as to how and what exactly the institution desk is thinking and the way you people do the business. It was amazing, and thank you for joining us.
always.
Hopefully, we'll meet again next week and discuss the things ahead.
Sure, sure. Always a
Right.
pleasure. Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye bye.